Well, thank you, Neil. All right, so good evening, everyone. I just want to start off by saying that I'm extremely grateful to have been asked to speak tonight. It's just, I'm in awe of what you guys do. Just amazed that you guys dedicate your time and energy to be part of such a wonderful society that touches countless lives. It's because of your support and fundraising efforts that those living with cancer have hope and optimism as they head into their future. They can take comfort in knowing that they are not alone in this battle, as thousands of volunteers are backing them every step of the way. So as you're probably fully aware, the Society's mission is to enhance the quality of life of people living with cancer and the ultimate goal to eradicate cancer. I personally can attest to the fact that the work that you do and the funds that you raise do make an enormous impact on those affected with cancer. So I'd be honored to share my story and let you know how you've all positively made a difference in my life. So my name is Hilary Drummond. I'm from Perth and I'm currently living with stage 4 breast cancer. My life with cancer started in May 2010. I was fresh out of teachers college and ready to start a relaxing summer before pursuing my Master's of Education in the fall. So little did I know that I would not go through with my Master's, and my life was not going to start that way because I was ready to take on a much more challenging course. So after my last class of university, I went in for a routine physical at my medical clinic at my university. So it was just a routine physical, and then they had a breast exam, and the doctor kind of went quiet, and she said she felt a lump. So I was 23 at the time. I kind of shrugged it off, thinking I was invincible. It's just a cyst, I told myself. Even my father, who's a local physician, I remember calling him. I remember this conversation quite distinctly. He said, don't worry, because 23-year-olds, they don't get breast cancer. So, I mean, that's coming from a doctor, and so I didn't worry. I was like, okay, well, it's a cyst, and I'll get it drained, and things will be fine. So I went back to Perth. I was ready to start my summer vacation. Again, I really wasn't too worried, because I thought that cancer couldn't be in the realm of my possibility. So after a week of soaking in the sun, probably having too much fun with friends, I realized that the lump wasn't going away, and it was actually kind of getting painful. So I thought, well, okay, let's take this seriously. Let's actually get it checked out. So reluctantly, I went into the hospital and went in for some tests. I first had an ultrasound, and they said it didn't look normal. So I just wanted to get out of there. I had a date planned with my friends to go to the beach, and I was like, oh, this is taking a bit longer than I wanted to. Let's hurry up here. She's like, well, the doctor was like, well, how about you stick around and you'll get a mammogram. So I had that done. And then even that, they said, it doesn't seem normal. So I called my father to come join me. He was at the office at the time, at his office. I'm like, can you just come to the hospital? I guess I have to wait around. And I got my mom there too. And so I waited 10 minutes. So that kind of felt like an eternity. And yeah, so they kept me company. And so then finally, we were all getting pretty anxious and nervous. And then you hear those life-altering words. Came in 3 simple words: you have cancer. So I can't really describe how I felt. My mind just went blank, and I felt numb, and my mind was racing, and I really couldn't think about anything. All I could tell myself was, this can't be real. I must be dreaming. But I did make it to the beach that day. I didn't want to go home and just be upset, so I had a good time, and it was actually that was a fun day looking back, and that's how I choose to live, is just try and stay positive, and just half the time just don't think about it. So. But unfortunately, that bad news kind of got a bit worse, and it turned into a bit of a nightmare. So, I dealt with the fact, okay, I have cancer, okay, I can get through this. But then I learned that it wasn't just a small little lump, it was actually an 11-centimeter tumor. So even just things that you're not fully aware of, you always hear maybe with breast cancer that it's going to be a pea-sized lump. Well, that wasn't the case. It was taking up my entire breast kind of thing. So it's just, there's some misconceptions floating around there. And that's why I like to share my story, just so people are more aware. But in addition to this tumor, I had a metastasis, so a spreading to the liver. So that now meant that I'm living with stage 4 cancer. Anything that is spread from the primary location is called stage 4. So, and then a few years later after that, I was kind of getting chronic back pain, and I just thought it might have been from exercising or something, but that turned out to be further spreading in my vertebrae. So hearing I had stage 4 cancer, it was kind of a scary term for me to digest. I just graduated with my Bachelor of Science, so I knew full well what that term entailed, and it's the highest stage of someone having cancer, and sometimes, most commonly, death was the inevitable prognosis, or so I thought. I thought stage 4 cancer was quite scary. So that feeling was actually confirmed by an oncologist who told my parents and I that this diagnosis wouldn't really lead to a happily ever after. I was told to really consider if treatment was even an option for me, as it might sacrifice my remaining quality of life. Her estimation for my time left: she'll be gone by Christmas, she blatantly told my parents. So after that meeting, I made a choice. I made a choice to never give up. So even if doctors told me that I was going to expect a certain outcome, I'd listen to my instinct and believe that anything's possible. So, and I also believe that second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions, whatever it takes to be happy, you got to go for it. So I don't always just listen to what someone tells me, even if, I mean, some people put doctors on a pedestal. You think you're God, they're God, you want to listen to them, but they don't always know you personally. So, I mean, that doctor didn't know she had a fighter she was dealing with. So, needless to say, I didn't accept that 6-month time limit. I sought after a new doctor who was willing to do everything and anything to keep me alive. So that's the beauty of medicine these days. I mean, in the past, people were diagnosed with certain diseases and were expected to grin and bear it and carry on with their lives with little medical intervention. But my new oncologist, he had a great outlook. He knew that there were countless avenues to pursue to keep a patient like me alive. So he promised to utilize innovative techniques and to continually search for new and upcoming research to keep my chances of survival high. So from then on, with the support of my oncologist, my local family doctor, who's also wonderful, Dr. Joanno, my family, my friends, and countless community members, I was in the mindset that I could move forward and fight as hard as I could. So my life then kind of became a bit of a whirlwind. My life consisted of endless doctor's appointments, MRIs, CT scans, treatment regimes, surgery. So to date, I've been on over 5 types of chemos. I kind of have lost track. I don't really know anymore. I think it's over 5. Multiple rounds of radiation, 7 surgeries, and different medical procedures. I've had a mastectomy, reconstructive breast surgeries, the liver surgery that removed some tumors, and a back surgery where 2 vertebrae were actually removed. So that might sound scary and unbearable, but my situation could have actually been a lot worse. As previously mentioned, the funding you all work so hard for really does make a difference. Because of funding, research has been made in order to improve forms of medication, refine surgical techniques, and make the disease more manageable. So I was looking online and on the Canadian Cancer Society's page, and there was a quote that really resonated with me. It says that they're moving toward a day when cancers will be manageable, like diabetes or asthma. So this quote really resonated with me because I actually have asthma and it's really easy to control. Take a puffer, you're fine. So I mean, if cancer can be as easy as that, game. Number 2 is I like the idea that cancer can be a condition that doesn't have to be your whole life. It can be controlled so it doesn't occupy your every thought. So most days for me, for instance, I actually forget I'm sick. People always say, well, you look so good. And I don't know, well, okay, thank you. I don't think it should change what I look like. But so I'm on a chemo where, lucky enough, I was able to keep some of my hair. So there's no need to wear a wig. I mean, I've lost my hair in the past, but the current type I'm on, I kept some. So it's not as thick as before, but still hair. So I'm pretty happy. I'm also rarely nauseous due to this. I am on a medication that helps the nausea, so and it's proven to yield positive effects in a lot of people. So in all honesty, I've probably been sick less than a handful of times over 4 years. Like I'm never feeling sick. So yeah. So because of these medical progresses, I'm able to lead a relatively normal life and still have the energy to teach full-time. I'm actually starting a job on Monday, so I'll be teaching grade 4 for the rest of the year, but I've been supplying and feel fine. So, other ways that funding has made my cancer more manageable is by the recent invention of the portacath. So this device, it's just a little device under my skin here, enables me to receive chemo in a simple manner. So it's a medical device attached under my skin that connects to a vein. I don't have to worry about complications with the older form, so probably a lot of you are aware of the PICC line, which lies exterior to the body and has to be covered. So imagine having to cover it up every time you want to shower or go swimming. It's not practical, especially if you're an active person. So yeah, the portacath is barely detectable. No one knows it's there. Little to no upkeep, just a few flushings a month, and it's stress-free. So that's really amazing. Other forms of care that I received that would not have been possible without your support is the multiple surgeries I've had. So with the mastectomy, I actually had a new type of anesthesia where it caused virtually no pain at all. My parents kind of laughed because that was my first major surgery, and normally they expect you to stay overnight, but I remember feeling so good, and my dad said, well, you know, Manuela, my family doctor, is on call and Emerge. Maybe you should stop and see her. And I remember running toward her, giving her a big hug, and so I felt fine. I had still full of energy, and it was really a pain-free recovery for me. So in addition to that mastectomy, I had a liver surgery, so they removed some tumors. As well as the back surgery where they took 2 vertebrae because I had cancerous material as well. So even though those surgeries weren't so pain-free, I mean, the back surgery, I was in a brace for 4 months, so it wasn't too fun, but I was informed by the doctors that at the time, even maybe 5 years prior, those type of surgeries would not have been done. I mean, the old philosophy is, you know, they would take care of cancer if it was in the primary location, so dealing just with the breast, but I had it in my liver and my spine, so sometimes they would just let cancer take its course. And I remember them saying this is not really done, but now they have more optimism in realizing that people with stage 4 cancer can survive, so they're doing more surgeries like that. So even a few years prior, I mean, I would have had to let cancer take its course. So in addition to these surgeries, I've also dabbled in many types of chemotherapy. The one I've been on since April, and it's been working really well, so I'm thankful for that. But other chemos didn't adequately control my disease. It kind of gets frustrating after a while. You might be on a chemo for a month or a few months and it's working, and then eventually your body just adjusts to it and it stops working. But what I want to say is that there's so many more at my disposal now because of up and coming research. So my doctor enrolls me in the clinical trials, which was talked about before. So those are wonderful. There's always tons of research going on, and my doctor jumps at the fact. So you get thrown in there, and they can see what happens from that. But that information can be wonderful, and there's just always new medication that's being tried out. So I feel blessed. I feel blessed that this is always happening, and so I have a greater chance of survival, and so I owe my life to that research. Another medical advancement that has been great and upcoming research is genetic testing and sequencing. So when I was diagnosed, I wanted to figure out, you know, if my family was at risk or what have you. So I got that done and figured it wasn't hereditary. So that was wonderful. Just realizing that my parents, my triplet siblings, and other family members weren't any more at risk than the general public for acquiring it. So I was really relieved. But then I had my tumor sequenced. So what's done basically is that doctors can pinpoint exactly which mutations are prevalent in a given person's cancer. So I now know specifically where my genetic makeup went wrong and ultimately have a better understanding of my disease. So in the future, I can use this information to receive treatment that is specifically targeted to my unique needs. So I won't have to just randomly try any old chemo. I can try something that is specifically targeted to my mutation. So the technology isn't there yet, but I have hope that one day that will be developed. So so this is a treatment that would be tailored to what I need to combat this once and for all. So that's a dream that can be realized because of your funding. So what I just talked about was my experience, an experience unique to me. I've met people with similar experiences, but no one's story is exactly the same. One aspect, though, that is consistent from one person's journey to the next is hope. Not once have I met a cancer patient that has lacked a will to live and a fighting spirit. It's inherent in almost every cancer patient I meet. Why do we have hope? Because we know survival is an option. We have faith in today's healthcare system and understand that medicine is constantly evolving because of research. So thanks to this research, the 5-year survival rate has dramatically increased. It's increased from 25% in 1947 to 60% today. So this statistic gives me hope that survival rate will continue to climb, and one day potentially even everyone can survive if they're diagnosed with cancer. So although survival is one goal, prevention and complete eradication of the disease is another. So I can only wish that one day we will know what specifically causes cancer and stop it in its tracks before it can interfere with any more innocent people. So this is my dream, a dream that cannot be materialized without your help in raising funds. So help me make my dream become a reality. Thank you. Hi.
Stay right here.
Okay, nice to see you. Thank you.
It's my privilege to be asked to thank Hilary, because Hilary was my student in grade 7 and 8. And when you have students, you never know where your paths are going to cross again.
I forgot to say I can play a mean clarinet. So.
Thank you, Hilary, for not giving up and for going for that second opinion. You have enhanced our lives tonight, and it has been a privilege to be part of the audience. And on behalf of the Cancer Society, and I'm never going to give up either. Take this, please.
Thank you so much.